You're standing in a basement in Brooklyn. Four men in suits sit around a card table. There's a loaded pistol in front of you. A picture of St. Peter. A small knife resting on a folded cloth. One of them pricks your trigger finger. Your blood drips onto the saint's face. The image catches fire in your hand. You hold it while it burns. In this video, that you live 30 years inside La Cosa Nostra, from a 15-year-old kid running coffee in a back room, to the day you sit at the head of the table deciding who lives and who disappears. 7 levels, 7 versions of you, each one more dangerous than the last. Let's go. 97%. That's how many made men in the last 50 years ended up in prison or in a ditch. Keep that number in your head. We're coming back to it. Level 1, the Hangaround. You're 15, a kid from Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, or maybe Palermo, Sicily. The rules are the same on both sides of the ocean. You grew up watching the men in the neighborhood, the Cadillacs, the silk shirts, the way every shopkeeper bows when they walk past. You want that life. So you start hanging around the social club on the corner. You fetch espresso. You wash the boss's Cadillac for $200. You run to the deli at 3 in the morning for sandwiches during the card game in the back room. The made men barely look at you. To them, you're free labor. A gopher. Your real job is to listen and keep your mouth shut. They are watching every single second. You don't get paid yet. Not a dollar. You take all the risk and zero of the reward. If the cops raid the club, you are the one they throw in the squad car while the bosses walk out the back. How do you get noticed? You make yourself useful. You spot an unmarked Crown Vic from 2 blocks away, and you sprint inside to warn them. That's when one of the soldiers finally looks at you. Level 2, the associate. You pass the test. You're an associate now. Not a member of the family, but you work with the family. Your life is one long hustle. You hijack a truck coming out of JFK Airport. $40,000 in stolen TVs sold in a warehouse in Queens by sunrise. You run a sports book during football season, pocketing the vig on every loser. But here's the catch. You don't keep all the money. You have to kick up. Every week you put a fat envelope on the table in front of your sponsor, the soldier who brought you in. If you stole $10,000 on Monday, you better hand over $3,000 by Friday. 30% off the top, no questions. Hold out on him? You're stealing from the family. That gets you disappeared. One night, the FBI kicks in your door at 4 a.m. You catch a 3-year stretch in Rikers. You do every single day. You don't talk. Not to a guard, not to a lawyer, not to your own cousin who comes to visit. The day you walk out, a soldier is waiting at the curb in a black Lincoln. He hands you an envelope with $5,000 in it. You just bought yourself a future. Here's the part nobody tells you. In 30 years of Mafia history, only 1 in 50 associates ever gets made. Most of them get killed by their own friends. For talking, for skimming, or just for being in the wrong restaurant when somebody else's beef boils over. Let's keep going. Level 3, the made man. It's a Tuesday morning. You're told to put on your best suit. No phone, no wallet, no jewelry. A car picks you up. You don't know where you're going. You walk into a basement. 4 men in suits at a card table, a pistol, a picture of a saint, a knife on a folded cloth. They prick your trigger finger. They drip your blood onto the saint. They light the paper on fire and you hold it while it burns down to your palm. If you betray your friends, may your soul burn like this saint. Congratulations, you're a made man. Un uomo d'onore, a man of honor. You are now untouchable. A civilian can't lay a hand on you. An associate can't touch you. Even a boss from another one of the 5 families can't end you without permission from the commission itself. Hit a made man, and you've hit every family in America. You have a crew of your own associates now. They kick up to you. You kick up to your captain. The cash flows up the pyramid every week, every month, every year. You don't break the windows yourself anymore. You send somebody. You don't collect the debt yourself. You send somebody. But there's a price. When the boss says somebody has to go, you go. You grab a clean piece, you do the work, and you bury the gun in a swamp in New Jersey by midnight. Refusal is not an option. The omerta runs both ways. It protects you, and it owns you. And here's what nobody tells you in the basement that day. Being made isn't the end of the climb. It's the moment the climb gets vertical. Before we continue, my name is Calvin, and we just launched this channel for people who love history. The goal is simple. Tell the stories no one really talks about. If you want to support us and help us make better videos, consider subscribing. It's free and it really helps more than you think. All right, back to the story. Level 4, the soldier and enforcer. You've been made for 3 years. You've earned a reputation. Turns out you're not just a good earner. You're good at violence. When a Bronx bookmaker owes the family $80,000 and stops returning calls, they send you. You don't say a word. You walk into his pizzeria at 4 in the afternoon in front of his wife and his 2 kids, and you put your hand on his shoulder. He pays the next morning, in full, plus a $20,000 penalty for wasting your time. You become the family's specialist. You know which chemical plant outside Newark has acid vats. You know which construction foundation gets poured every Tuesday at 6 a.m. You know how long a body takes to disappear in the marshes off the Belt Parkway? About 72 hours if the tide cooperates. You bury 7 men in 11 years. None of them are ever found. But this is a lonely seat. Even your own crew steps a little quieter when you walk into the room. You're 35 years old. You haven't slept a full night in 6 years. Level 5. The Capo. Your captain catches a RICO indictment. 23 counts. He's going away for the rest of his life. Before they take him, he taps you on the shoulder. You're acting now. For 18 months, you run the crew without the title. You keep the captain's envelopes full while he's in federal lockup. You walk a razor's edge and strong enough to lead, careful enough not to look like you want his chair. You pass the test. You become a capo. Skipper of the crew. You run 10 soldiers and over 200 associates. You control 4 blocks of Brooklyn, pizzerias, 2 construction unions, 1 waste management contract worth $6 million a year. You don't touch the drugs. You don't touch the guns. You manage people. You meet your soldiers in malls and parks, on walk and talks through Prospect Park, where the FBI can't park a surveillance van close enough to hear you. But every Friday afternoon, a fat package goes up to the boss. If you stop earning, you get replaced. And in this business, replaced doesn't mean retired. Level 6, the Consigliere. 20 years in, you're 47 years old. 3 federal investigations have come and gone, and you walked through every one of them without a single conviction. The boss notices. He pulls you out of the street and puts you in the back room. You're the Consigliere now. The counselor, the third man in the big room. You don't have a crew anymore. You don't have a territory. You have something more valuable, the boss's ear. You're the only man in the entire hierarchy allowed to tell him he's wrong. When he wants to put a captain in the ground over a bruised ego, you're the one who says, wait, think about the heat, think about the business. You're also the diplomat. The 5 families can't always meet directly. Too risky, too watched? So you travel, Boston, Philadelphia. Sometimes a flight to Palermo with a courier passport. You carry messages that can never be written down or said on a phone. You stop a war between 2 families over a $40 million dock contract. With 1 quiet dinner in Little Italy. You are safe in your seat. You're not a threat to the throne. You're a tool for the throne. Level 7. The underboss and the boss. The old boss dies of a heart attack at his daughter's wedding. The underboss takes the crown. He picks you to take his old seat. You're the underboss now. Second in command. The VP of an organization earning over $120 million a year. All the capos report to you. You collect the master envelopes every week. When the feds finally build their next big case, they hit you first. You're the layer of insulation that keeps the boss out of a federal courtroom. 3 of your friends flip. 2 of them disappear into witness protection in rural Idaho. The third is found dead in a hotel room in Sicily before he can testify. You walk on a technicality 8 months later. The day after the trial, the boss takes you to dinner. Halfway through the second bottle of Brunello, he tells you he has pancreatic cancer. 11 months left. He looks you in the eye and says, "It's yours?" You become the boss, capo di tutti capi, the father. You never touch a gun again. You never touch a dollar from a racket. There are now 9 layers of people between you and any actual crime. You whisper an order to your new underboss, and 3 days later, a rival in Philadelphia disappears. You sit on the commission, the board of directors of organized crime in America. You divide cities. You approve who can be made. You decide who gets to keep breathing. You have absolute power. And absolutely no peace. Remember that number from the start. 97%. You're now part of the 3%, the ones who made it all the way to the top. But nobody told you the truth about being in the 3%. There is no retirement in this life. No quiet exit to a beach in Florida. No grandkids on your knee at Christmas. No long walks in your 70s. Your best friend wants your chair. The FBI has a task force of 45 agents dedicated solely to ending you. Your own son refuses to follow you into the life, and you thank God every night that he didn't. You stay on the throne until one of 3 things happens. You die in a hospital bed at 68, with federal indictments waiting for you the day you would have been released. You die in a federal prison cell at 72 after 16 years inside. Or you die on the pavement outside a steakhouse in Midtown, 3 bullets in the back of the head at 59. Somewhere right now, a 15-year-old kid in Bensonhurst is washing a Cadillac. The made men barely look at him. He wants that life so badly he can taste it. He doesn't know what he's signing up for. The cycle continues. Drop a comment. Which rank do you think you would have stopped at? And subscribe because next week we're going inside an even darker world.